don't know if I'm the only man out there that has to resort to sneaking stuff into the house, but I'm afraid that, yeah, my wife set me a little bit of an ultimatum that if she caught me with more technical gear, I would be in trouble. So obviously I've got to make sure I don't get caught. So I've just sneaked this in while she wasn't looking. Now, even by my standards, this is quite a big one and perhaps difficult to hide. And I'm hoping it's all going to be undamaged because it isn't very well packed. Well, whatever it is made by HP, and it comes with a little bum bag. Shall we see what's in the bum bag? Is that enough of a clue? Any ideas? Micro grabbers. Nice. This thing weighs an absolute ton. And what I've got for you today is a Hewlett-Packard 1631D logic analyzer. Now, unfortunately, I found we seem to have a little bit of a problem with this switch in that it seems very kind of sticky in its operation. Rather than switching on and off cleanly, it seems to get stuck about halfway. And because I think the switch isn't fully open or fully closed, you can sometimes hear some electrical arcing coming from inside. So that's not right. I'm not sure whether it's the switch itself that's broken or if it suffered some mechanical damage on the side here. So, you know, I can actually get it to pull out, but yeah, it just doesn't quite move as it should. So I thought it was worth just taking the cover off here and seeing if it's something simple. Well, it weighs an absolute ton, this thing. And when I was playing with it the other day, I did have some trouble trying to get into it. I tried to open it the other day and I couldn't, but I saw some videos online and I think maybe some of these screws here might be holding it. So I'm going to try undoing them, see if that helps. I can actually see they've got this blue nylock material on them, not nylock, thread lock. So yeah, they're pretty well held on, these things. Maybe that's a good sign that nobody's been in here. Now I'm hoping I'm just going to be able to take the top cover off it. So to do that, I'm just going to have to release these pods as well. Now this is the part I got to before and I actually thought it should come off now. Is there another screw behind there? I don't think there is. Looks like my calibration's going to be void. So okay, is there a screw behind there? Yes, there is. Hiding. Doing a very good job at hiding, actually. Is that going to come off now? Well, everything's looking pretty dusty inside, but yeah, on the whole, can't see anything particularly bad with it, just a little bit of dust here and there. Obviously got a big power supply board on here, got a nice little protective cover on it. Now this is the switch here that seems to be causing us the problems. And as I say, what I want to know is it the switch itself which is a bit gooey, or is it something wrong with the front cover? Yeah, it's hard to tell. So you can see we've got a switch here. I'm thinking it could be the switch that's a bit sticky. Let's give it a spray. It could be the front that's holding it. Well, obviously not a permanent repair, but I'm just wondering if I just put a little bit of lube on here, if it'll just, you know, create enough lubrication to tell whether or not it's getting caught up here or actually in the switch, because I can't tell. Yeah, I think it is inside the switch. Certainly putting a little bit of lube on the front hasn't changed the feel of it. Ah, it just seems to be getting better. So maybe, oh, I don't know. I don't know what I've done now. Was it the switch or not? I think I'll just take this plastic cover off just to see if I can get better access to the back of the switch, maybe to get some more lube in. Now, I think I've said before, I really don't like spraying copious amounts of this lubricating spray over everything, because I don't like the idea of it soaking into the circuit boards. I don't know whether it is a problem or not, but yeah, I just don't like it. So I'm just going to put some ragging on here, just some towel roll, to see if I can maybe mop up the best I can. I don't think we're actually going to get a lot of stuff inside this switch because it looks as though it's sealed. Now I thought I would try and give this a clean using this deoxit fader. Now this is designed for cleaning you know, sliding potentiometers on mixing desks and things like that. But the reason I think it might be worth a try is because the main difference between this and a standard contact cleaner is that it has just more of a lubricant content. So I thought we might give this a try because, again, if it is just a matter of the switch needs some internal lubrication, this might be better than just using a switch cleaner that doesn't have lubrication. Oh, bloody hell. Straight in the face. Oh, 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 bloody hell. Straight in the face. God, that's the problem with this stuff. There's no such thing as gentle with it. Yeah, now I've got deoxit running all over everything. Horrible stuff. There's a thing about having oil all over everything now. It just attracts grease. Sorry, it attracts dust. I think the only way to be sure would actually be to take the switch off, and you know, I don't really want to have to take the front cover off at the moment. I don't know if it would be a good idea. Again, I've got a little bit of this white lithium grease, and I wonder if, again, I can try just a dab on the side of the switch, if that would help. So I just can't tell whether or not it's actually jamming up in the inside the switch mechanism, or if it's you know, in this control bar which goes to the front panel, because it could be jamming anywhere. Well, I've been fiddling about with this switch for about 10 minutes, and I think I've actually managed to make the problem worse, which is kind of telling me something in itself, in that I think it does mean that the problem does lie with the switch itself. There's like a little, I don't know what you call it, there's like a little plastic bar, a little metal rod on this switch, and you know, I found that if I manipulate it, I can change the way that the actual switch works. Now I've got it jammed. And I think this rod is meant to push down inside the switch, but it's kind of well, I can see that it should be running inside a guide, and it isn't doing that. Don't exactly know what it is doing. I'm wondering, is that designed to come out so you can get at the internals of the switch? I don't know if that was meant to come off, but it has done. Now I think this little piece of bent metal looks a bit like a staple. I think one end of it is designed to run inside some guides inside the switch. I can see the plastic guides where it would run, but it doesn't seem to want to do that. So I think there may be something wrong with the switch. It is the switch itself that's damaged, which is annoying because I haven't got one. Yeah, it's a real curious arrangement, this. I really can't figure it out at all. It looks as though you could actually put this piece of metal in two ways up, and I'm wondering if I've got it in the wrong way up, so I'm just going to try and take it out again. I think it is a little bit deeper on one side than it is on the other, so let's try putting it in the other way. I'm kind of thinking now the only thing that we can perhaps do is find a way to actually keep this switch permanently on. I'm pretty sure it isn't. I'm just going to try putting a bit of grease under this bar. I can see it's rubbing against part of the metal frame. You won't be able to see it. Where the bar goes underneath here, there is just a bit of a sharp metal edge, and I don't think it will be that, but I'm just going to try again putting a little bit of lithium grease on. Not really to fix it, but just to see if it changes anything. Now, I'm pretty sure it isn't that, because I'm lifting it over this edge now and it isn't making a difference. Again, I'll just try some actual lube inside the front of the plastic cover. Again, not because I want to try and fix the problem, but because I want to see if it makes anything different. Well, not very interesting for you guys, but I've been working the switch in and out, and I have just put a little bit of lubricant, plastic lubricant on the side of it, and it just seemed to be working more reliably. But I'm actually pretty sure the cause of the problem is the switch itself, because I can see inside it where that little bent metal staple was running. I think that was designed to run up and down a groove, and I could see when I looked into that groove that the plastic was a little bit broken inside, so I think it is actually getting jammed up. But just putting a little bit of plastic lube on the side of this switch I think has just helped improve it. I mean, it's not perfect. But it's better than it was. Obviously the long-term solution is actually to replace the switch, which we'll do if we can find one. And I would have thought that you could probably change this switch for something else. But I think don't really want to spend too much money on it if we don't have to. I just noticed it's got this great big header connector right at the top. Now you couldn't get a board in here because the top cover goes right against it. So I wonder what this is actually for, this connector. I wonder if it's a diagnostic port. And under the cover we've got a nice cathode ray tube lurking there alongside a nice little line output transformer. I wonder if that's got one of those doublers or triplers built into it. And we've got quite a meaty fan at the back. Now this thing does roar into life when you switch it on, and I did see some articles on the web talking about replacing this fan with something quieter. Just seeing as I had this plastic cover removed, I thought I would just give it a little bit of a rinse in the bathroom. And I noticed while I was in there, my wife had just bought some of this really expensive, I think they call it royal jelly shower gel. So I obviously thought that was probably the perfect thing to use for cleaning Perspex, and yeah, it's come up a treat. She will be pleased. Just while I'm in here, I don't see any sign of bulging capacitors, which doesn't mean that the capacitors are good, but then again, it doesn't mean they're bad either. So yeah, I take that as being a reasonable sign. I think the next time we open this up, maybe to replace the switch, we'll get an air line and we'll blow all the dust out of it, because yeah, it is a little bit dusty inside. Now I've just noticed another nice little touch here. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but this screw that was in the top that had the calibration label stuck over it, it's actually got like a little bit of a retaining clip around it. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. But the idea is when you actually undo the screw, it actually acts as a little jacking bolt, and it actually just helps to slide the cover forward, so that's quite a nice little feature. Now it looks like I probably didn't have to remove any of these screws from the front. I thought that I did. don't know if it's goo, it seems to be gooed up with something, this. Maybe they've purposely put some stuff in it so you can't, you know, so you can't get at it. Yeah, it definitely looks to have something in it. Can have more luck with a traditional screwdriver. Flat blade, it is a crosshead, but crosshead won't go in. Yeah, it's definitely got some kind of goo in it. Maybe it's like some kind of anti-tamper screw to keep people out. I did see on another video somebody unscrewed all of these, but in fairness he was taking the front cover off. So that must be why you actually need to undo these other screws on the top if you actually want to take the top, if you want to take this front cover off. Right, I guess we just should give that a go. Well, I'll take that as a good sign. Nothing exploded anyway. Well, you know what pilots say, any landing is a good landing. And the way I look at it, anything that I repair that doesn't actually explode the minute I switch it back on again, I consider that a repair. Let's see if it'll do it twice. Yeah, well, that's a lot better than before. Now, this particular logic analyzer, it's got a lot more probes than the Kirkisui unit has that we looked at last time, but unfortunately we don't have any of the probe adapters on this one. Now, the previous person who must have owned this also didn't have the probe adapter, so it looks as though he's just opened the probes up and soldered some wires inside, and he's got these labelled up as D0 clock, D1 latch, D3 serial out. So he must have been doing some kind of development or testing, you know, who can tell. But what I decided to do is I don't really like this. Now, I did actually have a look on eBay to see if we could still find the probe headers that would fit into here, and unfortunately I can't find them. I think they probably do come up on eBay from time to time, but I suspect they're very rare, and when they do come up they probably command quite a lot of money because of the rarity value. So what we're going to do is going to have a go at making our own. So again, I did find an article on the internet where it said that these actual connections inside, and I don't know if I'll be able to bring you in, are basically on a standard Molex header pitch. So what I've actually done is I've ordered some Molex headers, a 12-way, and what I thought we could do is we could actually try and just make some headers, probe headers out of these Molex connectors. I don't know if it'll work because these pins aren't actually round. They're kind of more rectangular shape, and obviously a Molex header pin tends to be round, but I thought it would be worth a try because I think we're unlikely to find it on eBay, which is a shame. Okay everybody, that was just a first relatively quick look at this 1631D logic analyzer by Hewlett-Packard. Now, a little bit of a spoiler I guess, because we will be seeing this again in the future, but I think for today that'll do. Bye bye for now.